Hey everyone, no fishing for me this weekend, so figured I'd do a video on just how Mike got my Slayer Propel 13 rigged up. So here she is, brand new, lime green in color, 2013 model. So we'll just start from the bow to the stern. So as you can see, I got my GoPro case mounted there on the bow hatch rails. Very simple, with a Scotty 438 and a gearhead extender and the Scotty camera mount. So this guy, just loosen that up. You can twist and turn in any direction that you need to go. And then to go forward and down, you just use the GoPro mount here. Just turn that, and it goes up and down. Alright, moving on. I've got the Lowrance Mark IV DSI, and using the Lowrance scupper mount through the front scupper plug in the bow hatch. It doesn't fit perfect. You're going to have to modify it a little bit, but it works nonetheless. So just a little cap there. As you can see, you got the mounting plate here, and then you got a threaded plastic rod that runs down secured by a wing nut, and then the transducer cable running in through here with a Hobie through hole connector. A little worried when I first got these, obviously, because you have to drill a 1-inch hole in a brand new boat, so it's a little intimidating at first, but a great product from Hobie. Definitely recommend them. And I know West Marine has some decent ones too if you can't get your hands on those. So I'll lift it up, show you the scupper real quick, so hang on a sec. As promised, showing you guys the scupper. There's the Mark IV DSI transducer. I don't think you're going to get anything much bigger than that in there. But fits really good, nice and protected from everything. And pretty darn good picture when you're using it on the water. Definitely recommend the Mark IV DSI for anyone who's looking. Alright, moving along back. I got a couple gear tracks here. And then the obvious, the Propel pedal drive system. Before we get into that, we'll take a look at the battery hatch there. So to remove the Propel, all you got to do is push these clips out of the way. 1 and 2. So I already had them undone, just showing you how they work. And there's actually a third one here that locks down when you got the drive in onto the little lip right here. If you want to use it, you don't have to use it though. So pedal drive just comes right out. And we'll put that off to the side. And I already got the thumb screws taken out of the battery cover. Just a simple little thumb screw. And the brass insert's already in there. So you lift that out. You got a rail on it too if you want to mount anything. But I don't know how useful that would be with the pedal drive sitting over the top of it. So we'll just discard that for right now. And we've got the native battery bag installed on this boat. So pretty nice little bag, and I'll show you guys the battery here in a sec. Just mounts on, have to drill some more holes and thread them on through and then hook the bag up. They do have a strap here that kind of runs around these front two scuppers right here. Kind of a pain to get on, but definitely worth it to stabilize the bag when you got the battery in there. Alright. So here's what I'm using for a battery on my Slayer Propel. This powers my Lowrance Mark IV DSI. You can get these at Academy. Walmart's got them. 12 volts, 7 amp hours. Give me about 5 hours or so, which is pretty good. So, as I said before, DSI. So some of you guys might wonder what that is. That's the DSI filter. And then I just put some electrical tape around my fuse assembly to hold it in place. The battery fits in here pretty easy. Native battery bag on there, so hopefully you guys can see this. Putting the battery in, nothing too difficult to it. Just move that out of the way. Kind of twist the battery in there to fit. Grab the Velcro strap again and strap it down. Plug in the fish finder. If I can find the plug right here. So red to red, black to black, and then power up the fish finder. This is the Propel pedal drive. Definitely a nice piece of equipment here. I guess updated for 2013 with some shorter crank arms. I demoed a Mariner way back in 2012 and definitely looked a little different, more cosmetically pleasing. And then, as many of you know, the Native Easy Cruise kit has been installed on the boats for the last couple years. So definitely, you know, effortless pedaling around. I mean, you'll get a easy, 3.5, 4 miles an hour on a calm day without exerting much effort. And for many of us, our legs are a lot stronger in our upper body. So, not to mention the hands-free capability. So that's why I went with the Propel drive. All right, to drop the Propel in, pretty simple here. All you gotta do is take this cover off, and it's got the 2 bungees on it, and that'll clamp down on the clips here. So grab the Propel drive to show you how that drops down in there. So pretty simple. Just get it in the thwart, lock it down. And as you can see, you're gonna have to line the propeller up to get it to fall in. So you just lift it up, line up the propeller, and then she'll set right down in there. There you go. That's kind of how it positions. Slap your cover back on, and that's kind of how I leave it when I go fishing. Like I said, you can lock it down here with that if you'd like, but if you do hit some shallow water or something, it's nice to have it unlocked where it'll pop up, knock the cover off for you. Not to mention it's probably, the best and easiest way to take a pee for all the guys out there. Alright, so that's the pedal drive. Like I said, Elite 4 DSI mounted on this boat. I got it modified a little bit with the ram mount, which gives a little more flexibility in the viewing angles from what Lowrance gives you out of the box. So nice and easy to move around. Wired up, pretty simple. Again, Hobie through hole transducer mounts. Another 1-inch hole, but real nice product, nice and watertight. Kind of hard this far to reach your arm down in the hole there to tighten it up, but that's the position I wanted in, so that's how it worked out. Alright, moving on to the seat. I got the Native first class under seat organizer. Definitely worth it. I don't like turning around really to get into a crate or a bag, so this makes it all worthwhile. 2 nice trays slide in there, so your tackle's readily accessible. Then I got my pliers right there, and then my waterproof camera, easily accessible while we're fishing and sitting in the normal seating position. But to adjust the thing, you just loosen the 2 thumb screws and it slides in the track here. Got 2 captive thread inserts mounted in the rails, so it slides back and forth. As you can see, don't want to mess up my seat position too much. Rudder control, simple lever here, left and right directional, so it makes a lot of sense. And then the one installed rod holder on the boat right here by the seat. Actually very useful. If you'll see some of my other fishing videos, it's good to throw your rod in there, and if you got a fish on, then work the fish from there. So I like it. I like the positioning of it. That is the only one you get though from Native. And the first class seat, I think a lot of people are familiar with this. Absolutely comfortable. Actually lean this back quite a bit when I'm pedaling around, just to be a little more comfortable and not so much pressure on your back. But a couple 5-hour trips so far, no issues. I will be getting the first class seat organizer for the back too, just to have a little more storage area, clean things up a bit. There's plenty of room behind the seat. Got 2 more tackle trays, so it's easy to reach behind you and grab these. No real need for a crate, even though I know a lot of people like those. This is my setup here. Big fan of Scotty stuff, so all Scotty rocket tubes on the back. 2 flush mounts mounted up front there, and then I got the Scotty 438 gearhead track adapters on the rails back here. Real simple. Remove these, troll with them, set them up at different angles. I usually just carry 4 rods, so this works out perfect for me. You got a little bucket here, and then access to the inside of the hole. There's some scupper plugs that I just store in there. And it's easy to mount the rod holders with all that access. So Native gives you a lot of room to do customization, which is cool. And onto the tank wall, obviously you can see the 2 tracks on the side, so anything else you want to mount here. I mounted my GoPro camera back here a couple times, but I definitely like it up front a lot better. But cutouts for a bucket, and then 2 large scuppers, and a nice angle in the back to make sure all the water makes it to the scuppers. As you can see, here's the rudder control. I haven't really taken it apart, no real need yet, but 2 cables and some eyelets coming out. And then as you move the handle up there by the seat, obviously that'll turn. And it'll turn this guy right back here. And this is my biggest complaint about the boat. Just not very responsive in my opinion, especially at low speed. So I will be modifying this rudder, be bolting on a nice piece of aluminum diamond plate on there to extend the length of this and hopefully get some more maneuverability out of it. So here's the rudder extension for the Slayer Propel. As you can see, it kind of fits over the original stock plastic rudder. Just bolted on by 9 stainless steel screws. But overall adds 7 inches of rudder length. Haven't used it yet, so hopefully it helps the turning radius, and I'll report back later. But it's made out of a piece of diamond plate that I had in the garage, and we'll see how it works. A couple more modifications to show you guys. Paddle placement. So you're not going to use your paddle too much on this boat, but you definitely got to have somewhere to store it. So I was a big fan of the taco paddle clip. So as you can see, it's mounted on there again. I've seen some other really simple methods to put paddles on there. This one's pretty easy in itself. So that's just half the paddle, but easy placement, out of the way, and then easily accessible if you do get some shallow water and need to paddle. So that's the Native Slayer Propel 13. Hope you guys liked it.